Opioids. Opioids were once used for treating pain for post-surgical traumatic injury and terminal illness. Opioid prescribing broadened in the last few decades to non-cancer patients. Increased prescribing has widely contributed to the opioid crisis that families, friends, and loved ones are dealing with today. Pain has taken on a whole new perspective for patients that only wanted to stop feeling physical pain and get back to work, school, and just everyday life. The picture to the left looks harmless. How could these little pills change the dynamics of your family, work, school, and personal life so drastically? In 2016, 64,000 people overdosed in the US alone, and this includes children, adolescents, and adults. The amount of people dying due to overdose is overwhelming and unnecessary. Types of opioids. Different types of painkillers. Hydrocodone, also known as Vicodin, given to the people for many different reasons. You go to a dentist, you have a toothache, you get a tooth pulled, and you will probably end up leaving with a prescription for Vicodin. Pain medication has been given for more than mouth pain, but not as effective as the next painkiller I'm going to talk about. Oxycodone is stronger than hydrocodone and can come in several different types of strengths, and a few names you might recognize would be Percodan, Percocet, and OxyContin. This was given for more extreme pain and injuries, such as broken bones, back pain, arthritis, and things along that nature. Hydromorphone, morphine, and then heroin. Hydromorphone, more commonly known as Dilaudid, is a more powerful painkiller. It was used sometimes in women for labor pain and used to treat moderate to severe pain. Morphine is a very strong painkiller used to treat moderate or severe acute or chronic pain, or severe pain like post-surgical pain. And then we have heroin, which is a derivative of morphine, which is highly addictive and illegal. And it is made in laboratories and anywhere else they can make it to sell to addicts. Opioids and heroin continued. Opioids have been behind about 80% of heroin users today, which means that they started on pain pills and they couldn't stop. They're buying pain pills on the street, they become more expensive, so someone offers them heroin, which does the same thing but even more intense and way cheaper. This is increasing on a daily basis. Heroin enters the brain and binds to the receptors on the cells located in different areas and are especially involving feelings of pain, pleasure, heart rate, sleeping, and breathing. Some of the short-term effects are a surge of pleasure when you use heroin, a euphoric feeling of being high, pleasure, nodding off, which means you do your hit and you fall out in and out of consciousness. You could have dry mouth, severe itching, and a feeling of warmth through your skin. You become warm, flush. Another thing is clouded thinking and judgment. Some of the long-term effects: insomnia, can't sleep, collapsed veins from intravenous use, from using needles in all your veins, infection of the heart lining and valves, which comes from using dirty needles or sharing needles with people, and you get an infection around your heart. Stomach cramps, constipation, kidney and liver disease and damage. The opioid epidemic. Easy access to a growing market, prescription opioid drugs, also known as POD. Professional pressure on physicians to treat pain more aggressively with a false conclusion on low potential of addiction. Cracking down on prescription writing. There are programs, deterrence, legislative efforts. Too little, too late. There's already consequences. Although the overdoses to opioids are increasing to prescription opioid drugs or PODs, doctors were still prescribing them to people that would come in and beg them or pay them extra to have prescriptions. No one is safe from opiates. Kids on prescriptions, parents going to jail, parents overdosing. Prescription drugs have been abused for decades, but between 1999 and 2006, non-medical abuse has increased at an alarming rate. Human Services reported that number of kids between 12 and 17 reported using non-medical psychotherapeutic drugs 60% more than the previous year. Where are the children? They're in foster care, they're with grandparents, and they're with family relatives. Children raised by grandparents, 2000, 2.4 million. In 2010, 4.9 million, which is a little over doubled. And the opioid crisis has left children without their moms and dads. America's families are in a whole other crisis due to the opioid epidemic. The child welfare system is facing huge shortages of foster parents and are looking to grandparents and other family members to step in and take care of the grandchildren, nieces, nephews, siblings, etc., who have become victim to this drug epidemic. The statistics on grandchildren, grandfamilies, and foster care. Every child deserves to know love, and this is the truth. Of a forever family, every family deserves to have the chance to thrive. I couldn't say it any better than what that says. A breathtaking 7.6 million children live with a family member other than their mother or father because of this horrendous disease called addiction. Out of those 7.6 million children, 2.6 live with their grandparents, relative, or a close friend. The ages of the grandparents are reported as 41% are older than 60 and 57% are still in the working force. Around 69% are married and nearly 2/3 are women. Another few sobering statistics are 1 in 5 are living in poverty and 1/4 of them have some sort of disability. The percentage of each ethnic background are as stated. 53% are white, 20% are African American, 20% are Hispanic or Latino, 3% are Asian, and 2% are American Indian or Alaskan Natives. Deaths from overdoses. In 2010, 38,329 people overdosed. In 2011, 41 36,340 overdosed. In 2012, 41,502 overdosed. 2013, 43,982 people overdosed. And in 2014, 47,055 people overdosed, which is a grand total of 212,208 people overdosing from 2010 to 2014. And that is an alarming number of deaths and families who have had to bury their loved ones. That many people could make up a town. It is a very sad situation. With all this being said, there are recovery options. We have medication programs that we give people that will keep them from withdrawing so bad and staying off the heroin and the opiates. We have methadone, naltrexone, buprenorphine, Suboxone, and a 12-step program. The most important thing is realizing you have an addiction and that you need to do something about it. So, methadone is the most common medication used for opiate addiction and treatment in the United States. With appropriate drug monitoring, counseling services, and vocational resources and referrals, it has demonstrated to decrease heroin use and related crime, increase employment, improve physical and mental health, and markedly reduce mortality rates. Naltrexone blocks the effects of heroin and most other opioids. It does not have addictive properties or produce physical dependence, and tolerance does not develop. Buprenorphine or Suboxone is a partial agonist as the mu opioid receptor and antagonist as the GABA receptor. It has a high affinity and low intrinsic activity at the mu receptor and will displace morphine, methadone, and other opioid agonists from the receptor. Its partial agonist effects imbue buprenorphine with several clinically described pharmacological properties: lower abuse potential, lower level of physical dependence, which means less withdrawal discomfort, and a ceiling effect at higher dose, and greater safety in overdose compared with full opioid agonists. So to finish, be careful trying to stay out of pain, because your physical pain can become a whole nother pain. My references are as stated. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.